Narrative art can show action or tell a story. Some of my favorite drawings are the ones that illustrate the events in a story. A great illustration can make the story even better, or it can tell the story all by itself without any words at all. For this narrative drawing, I know that the main character, the protagonist, the star of the artwork is me. To make this narrative drawing, we're going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, and an eraser. So I'm going to make a list of some activities that I like to do. When I look at this list though, some of them aren't really the best to make an interesting drawing. I'm thinking the most action-filled to make a really interesting character would be to use karate. I can draw the arms and legs in some interesting positions, and I think the background will look interesting as well as the details on the figure in the drawing. We're going to start off by drawing a basic skeleton for the character in a specific pose. So I'm going to start by drawing the head, which is an oval, the ribs, which is another oval, and the hips, which is another oval. Now remember, this is a sketch, so you can make adjustments as you need to. I already adjusted the hips. I started off down here, and I just quickly moved it up a little. So as you see mistakes, fix them. Now, I have to draw the arms and the legs. With karate, there are lots of different stances and moves that this character, me, I could be doing. I'm going to connect the spine on here. When I draw the legs, I'm going to draw it in two sections. There's the femur, which is the longest part of your leg, and then this circle is the knee, followed by the rest of my leg, and then a foot at the bottom. So this foot is bent out. My other leg is going to be drawn the exact same way with the same parts, but maybe bent a little differently. Femur again, and then the rest of the foot, or the leg, followed by the foot at the bottom. So he's kind of leaning back in a back stance. The arms are very similar to the legs. They have two pieces connected by the elbow. So I'm going to start with my shoulder, which is at the top of the ribs. I know the ribs are an oval. It's natural to feel like the circle should go on the side of the oval, but our shoulders are high, so they need to go at the top of the oval. So there are both shoulders. So there's the first part of my arm, and then here is the second part with a hand at the end. There again is the first part of the arm with the elbow. There's the rest of the arm and the hand. So there's my pose. Each arm and each leg are in a different position, which is more interesting than if both legs were the same or both arms were the same. The body's leaning a little bit, which puts some weight on the back leg. That creates a little bit of interest too. And now I can start to think about where the background's gonna go. There are lots of places that I could be doing karate. I could be outside, I could be inside. I'm thinking that's the floor. I know that there's a big window in the dojo where I do karate. There's the wall, and then here's the window. Big windows. And then that's the rest of the wall up to the ceiling. So there's our basic sketch. We blocked in the figure using a skeleton. We've set up the background so that we're ready to start putting details in. Obviously, the most important is that this person doesn't look like a person yet. He looks like a skeleton. So we're going to add the clothes onto this figure. Now this is a karate pose, so the outfit he's gonna be wearing is a karate type of outfit. I'm gonna put basically rectangles over all of the arms and legs, and I'm gonna add some lines here and there for wrinkles where the sleeves and the knees are bent. So right now I still think of this as sketching. I'm still sketching things out. I can make changes as much as I want. If I draw something and I feel like it doesn't look quite right, I can fix it and adjust it to the way I want it to look. One thing that's nice about a karate gi is that it's big and bulky, so I don't have to worry too much about making the clothes fit tightly onto the figure, so that's a little helpful. Now I'm stopping right here because I know the belt goes there, so all of the clothes are gonna stop at the belt and then continue on. The end of the gi where each side overlaps is really thick, so I'm drawing that edge. I'm also going to add the head in there, And while I'm adding the head, I'm gonna add some guidelines for where the face goes. This line represents the eye line. This line represents the middle of the head, so the nose is going to be on that line. Just so you can see that the head is basically looking in this direction, to the right. This shoulder is going to be super bulky right there because a lot of the material is bunched up. So I just add lots of these curvy lines to represent the wrinkling of the fabric right there. I do the same thing on the elbow. They're just like kind of curvy lines that go around the shape of the arm. Here's the belt. That's a smaller detail, so you can see I'm basically just sketching it. I'll go back later and make it look more realistic. Now on a karate gi, the shirt actually extends beyond the belt, so that's what this is right here. It's not a skirt. From underneath the top, the legs will come out, the pants. Again, there's some wrinkles there. Pants are really big and baggy as well, so I don't have to think about making it really tight to the body. Now I want to show you something about this leg up here, because this is where you get to make some decisions and you can kind of adjust things. When I'm drawing the pants around this bone, I could put the bone in the middle, but I could also put the bone on the bottom or on the top. So you can see if I drew the leg right here, that looks way too high. It's not matching up with everything else. So what I want to do is move it closer, move the bone closer to the top, and then just adjust everything to match that. So that's one way that you can make adjustments if it doesn't look quite right. You've got a lot of wiggle room with that bone. The clothes and the leg could actually be higher or lower depending on what you need. That's where the thumb's gonna go, but I'll add all the finger details towards the end because that's more of a small detail. Just in case I have to move the arm later, I don't want to draw all those details and realize that the arm is in the wrong place and I have to do it all over again. Because of the situation, I usually have my mask on at the dojo now, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw the mask on because I think it looks kind of cooler. Makes me think of those ninjas that you see sometimes in video games. So there's my mask. You can see I'm still adjusting things as I keep adding more details. I adjust the new details to the old details, and sometimes I adjust the old details to match the new details. I also have to wear my glasses so I can see what I'm doing, which is cool because it makes it even add more to that. That just looks really cool. There's the jawline. There's the shirt underneath. There's my shaved head. So that's looking pretty good. You can see based on the way I drew the leg, this foot is kind of a little too far up, so I'm gonna move it back some when I draw it. So the heel is here, and then the toes are up here. So I'm gonna shorten it just a bit. I'm also gonna add the major details in the background. So there's the floor. The floor is divided up into mats, like into squares. So I am gonna also give the impression of some of those edges of the squares. It'll make the floor look a little bit more interesting. We got the square floor now. Then I got the wall. Here are the windows. So those are the basics. I'm gonna keep going. Smaller details and smaller and smaller. Using the ruler to draw the lines for the floor and the wall helped a lot because those parts of the picture are meant to be very precise. By using the ruler, it made them look a lot more realistic immediately. So everything looks still pretty sketchy, and I started to try to think about what could be inside with the figure. And there's a container that holds bows, so I put that on the left, and then I drew a duffel bag on the right side. I went ahead and added the trees into the background just to add a few more things to look at in the picture. And now, with all the drawing complete, we can finish it off by adding some colors. But first I'm gonna outline everything that I wanna keep, and then I can erase all of the extra scribbly pencil marks that I don't wanna keep. This is the part that will make your artwork look very clean and neat. And the more carefully you do these steps, the better it's going to look when it's finished. Because there's so much detail in the drawing, it's really important to color everything extremely neat. If anything looks scribbly, it's going to make the details harder to see and understand in the picture. Because the shirt is white and the shirt is such a large part of the picture, I felt it was really important to work in colors in as many other places as I could. So even something like the wall, which is kind of white, I made sure to color gray just because there was already a lot of white in the picture. One thing that I would definitely like to do is go back and add some more dramatic lighting to the picture. More shading and shadows I think would help a lot. I hope you like the way your artwork turned out, and I will see you next time. Bye.